John Chambers here. This is the Maybom Perspective, our podcast where we talk all things real estate. And today I have a very special guest with me. His name is Keith Blosky, and Keith is the president of South Georgia Homes, and not only a great builder, but a good friend to me and so many of us in our company. We've done a lot of business together over the years, and sure is good to have you, man. Thank you for being here.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Well, we want to talk a little bit about your company today and what you got going and some of the stuff we're all doing together. So tell me, take a minute and just tell us a little bit about your company, your background, just anything South Georgia Homes and Keith Blosky.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
Even though I am the president of South Georgia Homes, I still think of myself as just a part of the team because it's a team effort.
Yep.
And it's not individual efforts. It takes a lot during the home building process. South Georgia Homes was created around the early part of 2000, but let me back up. I've also been in the building business working with my dad, who was an electrical contractor since the 1980s.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
that's kind of where I cut my teeth on the home building business. But we're all around the CSRA. We have many subdivisions, and in particular today, we're going to be talking about Cooper Place subdivision, which is near and dear to my heart. It's a new development over in Aiken County, and we are so excited, and just we cannot wait to get the product going in there.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're excited about that one. We'll be handling the sales and marketing for you, so we appreciate that opportunity. And yeah, that's going to be big. You know, and I'll say this to people listening: the name of your company is South Georgia Homes, but don't let that fool you, because you've been not only in business for 25 years, but you have built not only in Augusta, Columbia County, but have built a lot of stuff over in South Carolina, North Augusta. You built in Austin Heights. Aiken over in the Sanctuary off Powder House Road. You were in Hitchcock some years ago, and now Cooper Place. So let's talk about that. Where is it? Tell me about the location, the product, and then maybe in that product a little bit about what makes you different. Why South Georgia Homes if I'm looking to buy in Aiken? So tell me about Cooper Place. It's off exit 22, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's like you just said, it's off Wire Road. It's over in the county, Aiken County, and we are so excited. It's going to be about 156 lots.
Okay, good.
And what's exciting to this particular subdivision to us is we were the developer, and so we were able to kind of look at the trees, look at the topo of the land, and leave a lot of the green space and a lot of the trees, which is important to people, as opposed to just, going in, clearing a subdivision and, making it where it's easier to build. Right now, when you go through most of these subdivisions, everything's clear cut. There's no trees at the back of the houses, and we did a really good job of leaving a lot of trees behind the houses, leaving a good buffer that kind of hides the subdivision. So really, and you really have to pull into the road, the entrance, to actually know that there is a subdivision in there.
Sure. No, that's so important to people, buying a home, because you're right. You just, in my neighborhood, they're clearing off another section, and it just goes from all these beautiful woods to just open air and open land. And I think it's important for people to have still some of the greenery and a little bit of buffer there. So I'm glad to hear that, and excited to be a part of that with you. Now that one, if I understand correctly, the location there is going to qualify for the USDA financing?
Absolutely, which is a tremendous savings when the people are able, or a home buyer is able, to use the USDA financing. So we do have the opportunity to do that. And just like you said, not only that, but we're very excited to be, teaming up with Maybom, who is the top, in my opinion, one of the top leaders in the whole real estate industry, not only in the CSRA, but I would think in the southeast of the country.
Well, we appreciate that.
So, we're very excited. And then we're going to have a great team of lenders on the team. We're going to be, Maybom has their own mortgage division.
Sure. Yeah.
And we're going to be able to offer a couple of different products through different services of people that are in the mortgage business.
So financing is on the consumer's mind right now. They're watching those rates, and so many times as a broker, and I'm sure you as a builder, you hear somebody say, "Well, I'd love to buy. I love your product, but I need to wait on the rates to come down." What do you say to somebody who's like just waiting on rates to come down?
We hear that every day, John.
Yeah.
And again, I think we have all been spoiled. The rates have been down in the 2s and the 3s
Yep.
for so long,
Mhm.
which was a historic low. We've never seen rates like that.
Correct.
And nor do I ever think we're going to get down below 5.5%, 5%.
Mm-hmm.
So, most of these people, they keep asking me, what do you think? I keep explaining to them that if you feel comfortable about purchasing a home, now is one of the best times in the history because rates are still low. Matter of fact, when I first bought my home in early part of 2000,
Yeah.
I had to do a buy down and it started at like 7% and went up to 9%. The
Yep.
rates are still in the 6s.
Exactly.
So rates are still at a historic low.
Yeah.
But again, we've got this persona because the rates have been down in the 2s and 3s that
Mm-hmm.
everybody's waiting for them to come back down. In my opinion, nobody has a crystal ball.
Mm-hmm.
I do not ever believe that we will see rates again below 5.5%. I hope so.
Yeah.
But again, if people are waiting to time the market, nobody can ever time the market.
No, and I share that opinion with you. And two, as we're waiting, quote unquote, for rates to come down, meanwhile, prices are going up. I mean, we typically don't see home prices drop. We see them go up. So, you may wait on the rate, but then you wait and you're going to be paying a higher price for the house. When I think if we just go ahead and buy, if we're ready, then we get the benefit of those prices going up because you're building equity. And, real estate's one of the best investments you can make. So, I think, why wait? If you're ready and in the market, now's the time.
And real quick, going back to you about the cost, it is unbelievable how fast things are still continuing to rise.
Yeah,
Development costs are going through the roof. Building costs are still going through the roof.
absolutely.
There's no slowing down. And just what you said, that if you're trying to wait for the rates to come down, none of these costs are coming down.
Right.
I'm in meetings every week talking with some of the big distributors, the vendors. They see no relief over the next 12 to 24 months coming down the pipeline.
Exactly. Let me ask you this. So with inventory starting to rise, it has been for a while now, nothing drastic, but we see a trend of inventory rising and, giving people more choices. So if I'm a buyer out there and I'm looking at resale homes, I'm looking at new construction, why should I choose? And I've been asked this before. I'm hesitant to answer because as a broker, I represent new construction and resale business. So, I don't want to really favor one over the other from that standpoint. But you as a builder, what do you say to somebody who's looking at both? What are the advantages of a new construction home over a resale?
Oh, absolutely, John. That's a great question. And I think what I would like to do is say it's kind of like going to the mall at the food court. You go into the food court, you've got all these people offering you food, just like you see with the builders, incentives, so forth. And so you're really looking at, all right, where am I going to grab the bite to eat at? Well, you see Chick-fil-A.
Yep.
Why do people go to the Chick-fil-A?
Yep.
It's the customer service.
Yes.
You know what you're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
If there's an issue, you can, turn your food back in and they're going to make you another plate.
Right.
And I think that's kind of how we are at South Georgia, where you see all these builders offering all these incentives. Are we offering the most incentives? Absolutely not. But I think what separates us is we're all local. We live here in the CSRA. We're going to always be here.
Mm-hmm.
And most importantly, I think throughout the build process, I think we do it a little bit different. We communicate. You have our builder's cell phone numbers.
Right.
You have my cell phone number. You have my wife, who is in charge of the warranty department, and that is very important to her, where she gives them the cell phone, not just a regular number, not just an email. She calls, she responds back. And I think that's what separates us more than anything is the service that we get, and we still give you that service as if you are somebody, a friend of ours, and you're just not another number as a lot of these bigger companies where they just abide by the builder handbook that you have to just email the warranty. You don't know who's going to call you back. There's no relationship there.
Mm-hmm.
With us, there will always be a relationship.
Absolutely. I love that because, you know, buying a house and certainly building a house, if it's a pre-sale or an existing house, it's an emotional time a lot of times for the buyer. It can be stressful. And so that is huge to have service on the other end that's going to guide you through that process and stand behind what you do. And I love that your wife works with you also. I'm in that situation with my wife. We both work together as brokers. And I think that something special about having a family ran business like that. So I know it has its issues. You always got something to talk about at home for dinner because of the business, but that's awesome. Let me ask you this. I got just one or two more questions. You mentioned incentives. There's some attractive stuff right now to get into a new home, right? I mean, I know that changes from now and again, but incentives are out there, right?
Yes, sir, absolutely. And like I mentioned to you earlier, when you're riding around or you're pulling up on Google, you're seeing all these builders offering so much stuff out there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard for a buyer who has not purchased the home or been throughout this process to realize that, A, there's no builders just giving away all these incentives.
Right.
Sometimes they may raise the price. Sometimes they're cutting out a lot of the features that, we may put in as our standards. That's the other thing you got when you're comparing apples to apples. A lot of things that we do and we put in as our standards, a lot of these builders, those are upgrades, which are significant costs to those upgrades.
Yeah.
So, you have to do your due diligence. And then again, that's where it comes into play to have a great realtor.
Sure.
And of course, that's why we have latched on to Maybom because again, we think the agents go above and beyond and really help the buyer through this process, especially through these days right now, because, so many people got into the home building business, the mortgage business, the realtor business when times were good.
Yep.
Well, now they've slowed down.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? A lot of these people had to go get jobs, normal jobs, because it's so hard. But you see Maybom's realtors, most of them are still around because these guys are the top 1% of the realtors in the real estate.
Absolutely, and it's such a privilege to partner with you and the builders that we do business with, and I think that's one advantage. Like going over into Cooper Place in Aiken, your team there is ones that have sold your product before. They know your company, they know your product, and they feel comfortable, putting their name partnered alongside of yours because of the the track record you have for service. So excited about that. Cooper Place too. I don't think we mentioned, and then we'll wrap this up. But the price ranges over there are going to be what, in the mid threes, or where are we at?
I would say in the lower threes.
Okay.
But again, it just depends on exactly what extra cost we're going to get, increasing here coming up. Hopefully, we should be able to pull permits in the next 10 to 15 days and start going vertical throughout the building process. And at that point, then we can actually lock in. But it should be in the low threes. Yes, sir.
Excited about that. So that's going to be great. I saw some of the marketing material for Cooper Place, and I like the tagline there: "Crafted with purpose, built for life." I like that.
Absolutely.
That kind of describes what it's going to be, doesn't it? So homes in the low to mid 350s. We've got Keith, who's a local builder, been in the CSRA for forever, been doing this for a quarter of a century. We've got a product there that's going to qualify for USDA financing, and just going to be a great place to be. So more to come about that as we do some marketing to get it off the ground and help you have success there. One last question. I always like to ask this because what we do, your business and mine, the brokerage business and the building business, it's not something you turn on and off. It's not like a regular 9-to-5 job. It becomes part of who you are, and you're in it almost 24/7. It seems like, and dealing with so many different people, and the biggest investment that most people ever make is tied into what we both do. So I'd ask, what is it that, I guess, what is it that drives you? What's the most fulfilling part? I mean, we're running a business, so it's all, we got to have that part of it, but it's got to be deeper than that. What is it that you find the fulfillment in, that you like most about that process with the folks?
Just like you said, it is a business, but at the end of the day, I think the reason why South Georgia, myself, and our teams involved is we actually care about the customer. And at the end of the day, these people are trusting us throughout the building process. They're stressed. This might be their first home. And like you said, it's their largest investment ever.
Yeah.
And we are lucky to be a part of it.
Right.
And so they chose us, which that makes us, and that's our why we get up every day and go to work. But most importantly, at the end of the day, when we're driving through a neighborhood and we see the kids coming out the front door, we are actually a part of the family because that is our house. They chose us and they are raising their family, their kids in there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no other profession, in my opinion, as rewarding as being a new construction builder. And that is our why.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And it's so important. And you hit on it, the trust issue. I mean, there's a lot of different home builders out there. There's a lot of different real estate brokerages out there. So when somebody puts their trust in us with that investment, it doesn't get any better than that. I mean, that's what, continues to drive, I think, both of us. And at the end of the day, it's just, the American dream. You're building it, we're selling it, and there's nothing better than seeing people, moving in that home, and they're making memories. They're making a life there. And to know that they trusted us to do that, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, listen, you're doing a great job of it. It is a privilege to be partnered with you and your company. And you got some great folks that work for it. I'd love to have maybe you and your wife together sometime. You and Kevin, your superintendent, he does a wonderful job too. So we appreciate you, man.
Absolutely,
Thank
John.
you for
looking
joining us.
forward to it, and
Yes,
looking
sir.
forward to Cooper Place being a successful subdivision and bringing, dreams to people and making them come true.
Love it. We're going to do it together, man.
Yes, sir.
All right. Enjoy the sound, man. Thank you, folks.